We tend to feel ourselves super safe in our homes. However, they are not always the safest place. Some houses can fall apart, and if you are very unlucky, you can be buried under your own home. I would like to introduce you to these videos where houses collapsed and were wiped out in a matter of minutes. Is there a gas stove in your apartment? Do you by chance have a suicidal neighbor? If the answer is yes, then I suggest you move out of that building quickly. Otherwise, your house could collapse the same way this one did in the Russian city of Astrakhan. A suicidal man lived in this building. He decided to end his own life by turning his gas stove on. And to make sure he died, he lit the gas. The explosion was enormous, and 4 floors collapsed immediately. After a few minutes, the rest of the apartments, I counted approximately 5, also collapsed. As a result, one man's suicide turned into a mass killing. 10 people died in that horrible accident. The safest type of buildings are considered to be made of concrete. They can last for hundreds of years. But construction workers from Mecca decided to prove the opposite. They built this weak concrete building that collapsed. This building looks like some kind of strange competition. One construction team built half of the building and that half collapsed, while the other team built the other half and did a good job since it remained standing. This building in China was washed into the river because of a flood. After a heavy rain, the base of the building was washed out and the whole building collapsed into the river. Passerbys of this building in the Fishtown area of Philadelphia noticed that the bricks of one of the walls had started to fall down. They immediately called 911. The rescuers encircled the buildings and immediately evacuated the homeowners of the apartments. They were safely rescued and watched as their homes collapsed. In 2011 in Russia, this house collapse happened in the city of Vladivostok. Thankfully, no one lived in this building since it was in such bad shape. It was a major tragedy when this dorm in St. Petersburg caught fire and collapsed. The initial reason the building collapsed was drain pipe damage. The water from the sewer pipes burst right under this building and it washed out the foundation of the building, which caused it to collapse. When the building started to fall, it caught fire as well. It took only 17 minutes from the pipes bursting till the building collapsed. 4 people died. Newly built buildings might be as dangerous as old decaying buildings. Here's an example of a new building collapsing in Kazakhstan. In the middle of the day, the whole building collapsed like a house of cards. Luckily, rescuers evacuated all the residents hours before the collapse. In 2016, in the capital city of Kenya, in front of thousands of people, a residential building fell apart. The most shocking thing is how bystanders ran on top of the ruins without fear of being hurt. In addition, people filming the house collapse were standing at a very close distance to it. Please, if you see a building falling apart, stay as far away as possible. A lot of people have heard about the terrific earthquake in Nepal in 2015. Millions of people were left homeless because of this disaster. Even a few days after the earthquake, a lot of buildings still continue to fall apart since their foundations were ruined. Owners of small houses after watching these videos are probably relieved and think they are safe, since small houses do not collapse the way tall apartment buildings do. However, do not think that your one-story building is super safe. Here is an example of a one-story home falling into a sinkhole that appeared because of heavy rains. It fell 360 feet deep down into the hole.